Yeah, if anyone tells you that marathon training's fun, they're lying. Welcome to Wednesday there. I always forget the date. Something of August. 22nd, I think. Or 23rd. One or two. I'll put it up on screen. Really procrastinated today. Didn't want to come out. I mean, I knew I'd always get the run done, but just really should have got up earlier. So obviously I'm off work at the minute. So yeah, I've had pretty much all day to do the runs, which is falling quite well really, with like peak. I just procrastinated quite a lot today. So today is 8 minutes tempo times 4. Difficult to know how far to actually plan the run today. So I'm going to plan for a 16k loop, 3k warm up, and then obviously 4 times 8 minutes with a 2-minute jog recovery. They're all at threshold, which is 180 heart rate for me, and then a 2-minute jog, which would be about, I don't know, maybe looking at a session I'd done when I'd done this last time, it was 400 meters. But yeah, we'll see how far we get on. We might have to like improvise a route here, but yeah, I'll speak to you when I get to the first tempo section. That's the warm up done. 3k, just got into the session now. It's quite muggy today, so we'll see what that corresponds to in terms of pace. But looking for 180 heart rate. It's the first 8 minutes done. I think they're about 330 average. Take recovery's really easy because it's quite a short recovery, quarter of the percentage. So yeah, I'll get my breath and then we'll go again. Worth noting as well, that one was slightly on the downhill bit. The next eight minutes will be on the upper bit, where I was doing the steadies the other day. So it might be a bit slower, but we're not aiming for pace. We're just aiming for like 180 heart rate. I've got a minute left, so I really need to control my breathing. 5 seconds to go. There we go, that's the chime. We're off for the second one. Another 8 minutes. Touch base at the end of this one. This rep number 2 done. I think I was about 340. Heart rate was about 182 last I looked. I really need to focus on my breathing now. So the third one done. About 338, 339. Heart rate 182. Last one to go. Tough. I'm gonna catch my breath, touch base before the end of the last one. See you in a bit. So last one done. I think the pace is on that with about 338 again. Heart rate 183. I'll put them all on the screen. But a 2-minute jog now and then the cool down, however long that is until I get in. But I'll tough. I've got a double later, 6k recovery tonight. I'll put that on the screen now. Other than that, on to tomorrow. So welcome to Friday the 25th of August. You know it's bad when you're running a lot, when you start having to wear your girlfriend's running t-shirts because you got no clean ones. Today is 3k warm up, 8k at marathon pace, 2k cool down for a total of 13k. Back in the Prime X's. I think I've got that much tape and bandaging on my blister. I'll put a picture up of what it looks like, of what it looked like before the run. I'll take a picture afterwards. Hopefully it works, but I'll touch base just as I get to the marathon pace bit. Just coming up to the end of the wall now, 400 meters left. It's worth pointing out this route is like a K into the marathon rep. I'll have to cross the main roundabout. Might have to pause there, but it can't be controlled. Other than that, it's slightly downhill first couple of K, and then from about 5k it's the slow gradual incline on the way back towards home. I'd like to be in and around 352s. I'd accept like 354s, 355s. Basically anything under 356 consecutively should be fine. But the main thing I'm looking for is just heart rate low 170s. It's quite warm, but what I really want it to be like under 175 now. If it's getting above 175, this, what, 4 weeks out, it's probably going to be a little bit too difficult, but we'll see how we get on. Yeah, we'll get into it now and then touch base halfway around. 4k into the marathon rep, feel really strong, heart rate's where I want it, paces are good, but again, slightly downhill. The next 4k, tell me everything I need to know, but feeling really good at the minute. The marathon pace bit done, felt good. Got into threshold a little bit coming back up the hills, but yeah, it's not too bad. I'll have to have a look at the paces when I get home properly, but I feel like it went well. Just like gut feeling, I felt okay. Coming up the hills was a little bit tough, but it's not representative, is it? I showed you in the last video, like Berlin's flat as anything, so hills here are just, but all the paces are there on the screen. And this was a run, no double today, just straight into tomorrow's run really, and then into the long run on Sunday. So I'll 2k cool down now, but I'll see you later. Welcome to Sunday, the, don't even know the date, 27th of August, long run day, 37k today, 8k loop, once easy, marathon pace steady, marathon pace, and then a 5k cool down. So the 8k loop 4 times and then a 5k loop just to cool down. Yeah, out, just gone 8 o'clock. I'm in the prime X's again. I think the blisters are sorted. I've managed them quite well this block. The sort of taping strategy I've got, which you saw the other day, although it looked ugly, it works because it just keeps the pressure off that blister point, and although it does leak in a bit, obviously with the movement, it's protected, the shoes aren't rubbing on it, which is good. So I'll get into the warm-up, and then I'll touch base about what the plan is. Today is 5 gels in the front pouch with the intention of taking 4, 1 every half hour, and I've also got my cramp fix in my back pocket, which I can't get out with one hand. But yeah, the reason why that's in there is I'll take that every 10k, just because I need to practice getting it out with the camera, because it's a bit fiddly at the back. But yeah, we'll get going. 5k easy cool down. Cool down already? Warm up, 5k easy warm up. Let's go. 5.5k in, first gel. Raspberry Ripple, just a normal one. Warm up done. Got a bit of GI issue, like I'm, how do I put this? Having a bit of gas from the rear end. And I usually don't have any issues. So I'll have to look back at what I've eaten last day or so, and I've not really changed anything. Like I say, first sort of, the last 7 and 8 is quite uphill. Sorry, 6 and 7 are quite uphill, and the rest are either flat or slightly down. So yeah, it's not ideal, but again, like I said last week, because Berlin's so flat, but it's the best we're going to get. Just have to wait and see how it goes. So I took 1 gel already. Another gel will be pretty soon into this block. We'll also take some cramp fix, which I won't be able to get on camera because my hands will be behind my back, getting it out my back pocket. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. I'll touch base 4k into the marathon bit, and then when I get back to the bottle. When I get back to the bottle next time, someone said, what do I do with, you know, like how long do I stop? I'll keep the camera running, even if it's just hanging there, just so you can see. It's usually about 2 minutes, like waffle to the camera and then have a quick drink and then I'm off again. So, but I'll have a quick drink and then we'll go. It's the first 4k in the books. Just taking a gel at the same time. Feel okay. Legs are tired. Heart rate's good, but I feel like my legs are working too hard, if that makes sense. But that's probably the fatigue, so I'm not too worried. But I'm going to get this gel down. These are splits for the first 4, and then focus on the last 4. See you in a bit. first 8k marathon pace done. To be honest, didn't feel great there. Heart rate was okay, but just legs are very heavy. I got about 50 meters to the bottle, then I pause, and then I put a nice little timer in the corner so you can see how long it takes. But yeah, that didn't feel great. Difficult. Legs just tired. Alright, we're just at the bottle now, so yeah, legs tired. Not looking to do about that. Paces weren't too far off, but a lot of the time it's just heavy legs. Like there's 3 hills on that route, or 3 inclines, and you hit them and you just blow my legs up. But here's what it is. I put all the paces for all 8 now, and then we'll go on the steady, but I'll have a drink first and then we'll get going. Right, stop the clock, we're off again. So 8k steady, same loop, just steady, aiming for that 160 heart rate. Yeah, is what it is. 103rd week of 130k. It was bound to catch up with me eventually today, maybe. Not panicking, I'm not miles off the pace. The effort's still there. It's not like I'm hitting, it's not like I'm missing the pace and my heart rate's at threshold. I'm missing the pace and my heart rate's where it needs to be. So, and I'm not missing it by loads, I'm missing it by like 4 or 5 seconds max. So, it is what it is. But I'll focus on this now. It's an important steady section, this, because it needs to be comfortably hard, but it's also a recovery. So I need to get that recovery element in. So I'll touch base when I get back to the bottle again. I think this is number 3. Precision Fuel caffeine, an hour and a half in. Always do the same process. Normal caffeine, and then a normal one if I need it. Right, we're going in for the second dose of the cramp fix. Which is basically vinegar, berry flavoured apparently. It's not. So usually I have just like 20 millilitres, centiliters, I don't know. It's literally just a little sip, it's enough. It tastes like ass, but it works. That's the steady section done. I backed that off a little bit in terms of the paces were still quite good. The paces were still like 420s, but I backed it off in terms of heart rate. I've tried to get more 150. I feel like I need a little bit more recovery if I'm being honest, because I'm not looking forward to this marathon pace section. It's threatening to rain. Probably better doing it that way. Which the threat of rain isn't a bad thing. I wouldn't mind a bit, just to help cool me down. It's going to be a tough old 8k this. But we'll see how we get on. Again, I'm aiming for 352s, but I'd be happy with anything 354, 355 and under. Even 356 isn't a million miles away on the uphill sections, but I just want to keep that heart rate 174 below. The difficult thing about when you're racing a marathon is your marathon pace is so close to your threshold heart rate that you have every little like acceleration is like, if you're driving, it's like the lightest of touches. Like, it's the lightest of accelerations, because if you put too much into an acceleration, or you put a tiny bit too much into one little kilometre and you go into your threshold, it could derail your whole marathon. And it's such a fine balance between working hard enough that you're hitting your paces, but not working too hard that you end up in your threshold and blowing up. I managed to get that balance bang on in Manchester, but Berlin's going to be a whole other story. It's going to be a massive challenge. For 30 seconds, and then I'll have a quick drink, and then I'll get going on the marathon pace section. Again, I'll touch base after 4k and see how we get on. See you in a bit. So halfway into this rep, here's the paces. I'm not going to talk too much. I need to stay really focused here, dialed in. See you at the end. Back at the bottle now. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. That felt okay. Again, I think it's the legs more than the heart. There was only one point during that second stint where I got into threshold, and that was going up the big hill in 6k, I think, which was a slow K. It was slow. Be interesting to see what the gradient was, because I don't actually know. But yeah, I think it's just freshness. I think because the heart isn't working too hard. Heart's working what I'm wanting it to, but the legs are just a little bit off. It'd be easy to stand there and panic, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to make the pace. I can't make the pace." But I've got to put into perspective the fact that in the last 3 weeks I've done what, 390 kilometers. I've got to factor that in. That, you know, the legs aren't going to feel fresh and poppy. But after a taper, there's 2 weeks out from the marathon, I do a 26k run, and it's 13k easy, 13k marathon pace. I think that'll be the run, because it's although it's not deep in the taper, my leg, I would have had I think 2 rest days before it, and I feel a little bit more fresh. That'll be the one where I know if it's on or not, and if we need to change target. But for now, I just think it's freshness. I think it's doable. I still think it's doable. I mean, I'll have to look at the splits. That was all the splits for that 8th one. I'll have to properly look at them, but I don't think we're a million miles off, considering the fatigue and the legs. I think it'd be easy to panic, and I'm not panicking, because if it was my first go at like a sub 3, I'd understand. But you know, I've done that. I've done it. I know what it's like to feel fatigue. So we'll see how it goes. 5k cool down, and then we're done. See you later. 400 meters left. That's another week done. I think it's 134, 135k. I'll put it all up on the screen, and I'll have a little chat in the office. Details for today's run, all the splits. Yeah, I'll see you in the office for debrief and looking ahead to next week. See you in a bit. Another week's done, another week of peak marathon training. Again, another big week, 134k. Everything this week was just about long range sort of effort. So obviously the threshold on Wednesday, the marathon pace on Friday, and then obviously the long run on Sunday. That's what it's for. It's to try and test my body on tired legs at longer range efforts, and today was the sort of tipping point of that. That last 8k at marathon pace in the long run was tough. Like I didn't miss the paces by much, but there's enough there that it just hurts. It's just getting so, obviously there was a one that had a 10-meter elevation towards the end that I went round in 3:57. You know, I've said this a few times, grade adjusted pace, that'd have been 3:48. You don't run a marathon on grade adjusted pace. You know, there was a lot of up and down on today's run. But that you know, that's fine. It tested me. You know, the paces were quite good for the majority. There was just a few that were testing me. I'd admit I'm not the best at hills anyway. So when I do come across a hill at a marathon effort, it usually blows me up. But yeah, this week was good. You know, obviously the fatigue is setting in now. I've got 9 days left of marathon peak. I'll put it up on the screen now. So again, recovery tomorrow, just to sort of, you know, get my legs going. And then one of the last really short workouts that I do. So this is a Nick Bester one. To be honest, I've never done it. It may end up being a disaster, but 2 times 3 minutes, 3 times 2, 4 by 1, and then 5 basically strides at the end. And then again, more marathon pace stuff on the Thursday. So we've gone for 10k at marathon pace this time in an 18k run. That'll be a good one. It'd be good to see how my legs are by that point. And then just ticking along until we get to Sunday. Again, I'll probably take the strides out on Saturday, just unless it's in a workout. It's just unnecessary volume at the minute. Once the taper starts, I'll start bringing them back in to get the sharpness back. But then Sunday is the longest run of the plan. 38k, starts off with an easy warm-up, 6k, marathon pace at 15k, and then a steady 6, marathon 5, easy 6. That'll be a really tough one. If my legs feel, you know, the fatigue is setting in even more by next week, that marathon pace 15k will be a real good test to see where I'm at. And then I'll just put up until the taper. So the week after, we'll obviously start with a recovery. And then it's a double threshold day. So I finished on the double threshold day for Manchester, and I feel like it really worked. I've got them the wrong way around, but it's an AM session of a 3x2, 3x2K threshold with a 1K float. It's a good session. It's not too hard, but it's enough to make you feel like you're working, if that makes sense. And then in the evening, just a shorter session, 10 times 2 minutes, with 2 minutes walk recovery, and then we're into the taper. So I'll probably update, rather than do it on Sunday, I'll probably do it when the taper starts, so next week's video will be a little bit late. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're nearly there. Although I say nearly there, you finish peak marathon training and then you taper, and it's all about looking after yourself, making sure you don't pick up any niggles, dealing with paranoia. It doesn't go away, does it? So although the volume comes down, the actual stress of training doesn't. Whoever said marathon training was easy is lying, because it's not. It's bloody hard. But yeah, that was it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate that training videos are quite repetitive and the same sort of format. Hopefully once Berlin's done, and obviously you'll get the Berlin sort of vlog of that weekend, that'll be hopefully quite interesting. But then hopefully after that, the 5K sort of block that I've got planned for the end of the year will be a little bit more exciting than just me running long. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a good week. See you later.